to For Chirping with Matt Cairns. Cairnsy, what's up, buddy?
Moss, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm good, buddy. I love talking to you. You're one of the guys, I think we end up probably talking more than most, but you're always so happy. Like, you're there to give me fist bumps in the morning, man. Make me feel like I'm part of the team. I love that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. I always love. I love seeing you all the time. Like, it's like I said. I always want to be happy. Like, I'm always a happy guy.
Yeah.
So, like, I hope guys can see that in me. But like I said, I always like seeing you around the rink, and you're always happy as well. So it makes my day too,
buddy. Yeah. You know what though? Like, and when you're a nice guy, people can wait for you.
for sure. Exactly. Yeah, I know. I apologize for being late. There was a little bit of an issue at the dentist office, but other than that, I appreciate waiting.
Tooth is fixed. Let me ask you something. It's really random. Do you like your smile?
I do. Yeah. I definitely get some slack for it, but I think I do. Some people say I smile a little bit too hard, like a little bit too much, but I'm just being myself. So that's all I can really do.
I don't like my teeth, man.
Really? Why do you say that?
I just don't like them. I don't know. I don't like the shape of them. I wore braces in like 5th and 6th grade, and then like I got them off. And I didn't use the retainer right, and I've seriously thought about this. Like what veneers are. I've thought like if I make it to the show and like I make enough money that I would consider getting them.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't know if I ever would, but yeah, I mean my parents have put a lot of money into my teeth, thank God. So
braces,
yeah, Invisaligns actually.
Invisalign. See,
I was lucky.
I think I'd be willing to do that.
I was lucky because I was the younger brother too, and my brother got normal braces, and then I got the Invisaligns. So I somehow lucked out there.
What was the reasoning? Like, why did he not get
lucky? I think
he
was just he's a year older, so I don't think they had it as advanced, or the Invisalign. So they just tried it out with mine, and I'm not sure if it was more expensive. It was probably more expensive.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, okay, so since you had it, I thought about, like, could I get away with, like, because it's not that bad, but, like, could I get away with like maybe having a couple months in the summer to like realign?
Yeah,
it? Like,
absolutely. I don't think they take that long either. Like you would only need, like your teeth look fine now. Even if you wanted to just do it a little bit, I'm sure you should look into that.
I will, but I'll ask you, having worn them, how noticeable do you think it was?
Wearing them? You mean,
so I think the reason why nobody likes like braces, no offense to anybody that's wearing them right now, is that like it's metal mouth.
Yeah.
Right? Like, do you think it's really noticeable? Like if I see you from 10 feet away and you're wearing Invisalign, I'm like, oh yeah, he's got braces.
You can see it a little bit. It honestly kind of depends on your teeth too. Like if you have good teeth already and you just want to get some touch ups, you probably won't be able to see it that well. But like if you're just like if your teeth are not as great and they're all over the place, then you probably would notice them more.
I don't think mine are all over the place.
No, definitely not. You should look into that.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the veneers thing, I've been told, I think I'm serious. I really do think I'd consider it. But the thing is, like everybody says this and it's true. You ever notice like more and more people are getting them? And now it's like,
I heard Joe Burrow got veneers.
I don't know if he did.
I don't know.
Michael, come on, get on there.
I saw a thing where they had a picture and his teeth were completely different,
but see, that's the thing. Like somebody told me, and they're probably right. Like if you look at it, it is really obvious if somebody got them, and then like everybody that has them has the same smile. Like now in Hollywood, it feels like everybody's got the same face.
Exactly, it's true.
Yeah. That's why I'm kind of debating. Like, could I do it?
Should I do it? Should look into that for sure.
I am gonna look. We have young Michael Perdomo, our producer, who I assume is either looking up. Yeah, are you looking it up? Let us know about Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I'm trying to find anything about Joe Burrow. I'm just hearing that a lot of people noticed. It looks like he has new teeth.
Yeah. There it is.
So there might be something there. But also wanted to point out earlier when you guys were talking about Invisalign's tagline is a new smile in 4 to 6 months.
4 to 6 months. I could maybe do that.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Think about it.
I think I had him for like just under a year.
But see, 4 to 6 months is what I'm looking at. I don't want to do a year.
No. Yeah, that's all you would need. My teeth were not as great. Like I was younger, so 4 to 6 would be fine.
How old were you when you had them on?
I had to have been like grade 9 or 10. And it's funny I say grade 9 or 10 because in America they say they would say a freshman or a sophomore in high school.
Or 9th or 10th grade.
Yeah, or I guess 9th or 10th grade, yeah. But no, grade 9 or 10.
So is that how it is in Canada? Like you wouldn't say I'm a 9th grader or I'm a freshman?
Well, you would say you're in 9th grade we just say grade 9 or grade 10 as in it's just like a different way to say it. But we don't say freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Even in college, you would say first year, second year, third year, fourth year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that would be how it would be in like U Sport, but like you were in NCAA.
Yes.
So you were a
so
freshman.
I considered, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, freshman.
I do want to talk to you about college because we had a conversation about this when we did Prospect Pipeline. I don't even know if that question got put on there, and I was very disappointed about it because I thought it was great. But I'll backpedal to that in a little bit here. By the way, that water is complimentary. You can use that on the podcast.
Appreciate that.
I just want you to know that. We're looking out for you.
Is that all right there?
You're
That's
good. Yeah,
all
you're
right.
good.
All right.
Michael, he's good, right?
All right.
Cairns, he wants to make sure that this is like perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. The
course.
audio's been good, pretty good so far. Just remember, it's gonna be directional, so just talk as much as you can into the mic.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
problem.
you're
No
good,
problem.
man.
All
You
right.
have media training. You've been there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I see whenever we look you up, like you've always got the Oilers hat and jersey. That's the first thing that comes up, you know?
Yeah. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, but I mean, well, it was, but it wasn't. Like, it's crazy, buddy. You're going to be 24 in a week,
Yeah, next week.
right? Yeah. We
Yeah,
found
big.
out you share a birthday with Luke Brown.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
who was
funny.
also our guest. One of the ones we recorded earlier today.
Well, tomorrow, I actually found out tomorrow's Al's birthday, right?
Yeah,
Because it's my
yeah.
mom's birthday as well tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, Vonda?
So, yeah, Vonda's birthday tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'll have to give her a FaceTime in the morning.
Yeah, that's cute.
for sure.
Well, this is going to be all over the place because there's so many things we can talk about with you, including Vonda and Derek. I do want to give love.
For sure.
Your
Absolutely.
parents are freaking awesome and just
Appreciate that, Moss. Thanks.
super supportive, obviously, of you and truthfully of me. I feel like they listen to me, and
For sure.
you know, Papa Cairns is always very very complimentary, which I appreciate. But dude, let's go back to that. So I have intentionally not asked you about this. Just because I'm curious, and I figured it's better to talk about maybe when we have more time, like we do now. But like, so yeah, you're a 3rd round pick out of the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you were that kid again with the jersey and the hat and all the interviews in the media. I mean, of all teams to be drafted from, there's them, the Leafs, a couple other Canadian teams. Because like not all, like Ottawa doesn't have that kind of coverage and attention.
No, yeah.
So like, what was that like?
That was that experience was crazy. And like you said, because the big market teams in Canada are the Oilers, the Leafs,
Yeah.
Habs. Habs too, yeah. And I remember the draft day. I actually had prom the night before, which was funny. Yeah, high school prom the night before. And I wouldn't have gone. I wasn't actually planning on going to the draft. 2 reasons I went to the draft. The first reason was it was in Buffalo, which was only an hour away from my house, and so my parents and I were able to go on the Saturday, the second day, super early in the morning, and just go drive the hour. And second, after the combine, my advisor thought it might be better that I'd go. I don't know if that was because maybe he thought, because it's tough. It's tough when guys go to the draft and some guys don't get drafted. You know, you see all these guys go before you that you I guess you think you're better than, you're better than.
Sure.
So he didn't want me to have to experience that, but then he thought that I should go, and then ultimately we made the decision that just me and my parents were going to go. You know, some people bring a lot of family there, but we just decided us, and it was a crazy experience because I got picked. I'll be honest, I got picked higher than I thought I would. I thought I was going to go probably 4th, 5th round. Then I was a little bit earlier, and then it was to the Oilers. And I just remember talking about it with my dad on the day of how crazy it was that it's a Canadian team, you know, and at the time that's really all you're thinking about. So other than that, it was just, I can still remember the whole day, like to a T.
Yeah. Well, then, I mean, take me through it. Like what, first off, when do you find out? Because it's not like you, at least I think, you don't just find out when they announce it on the platform.
Yeah. No. And I got a funny story though from that day. And we talked about it the other day, but I can take it through the day first. So I went on the Saturday the morning because it's only an hour away. That's the rounds 2 through 7.
Yep.
And I went that day with my parents, and you just sit in the stands. You kind of find your own spot wherever because there's not as many people. And then they have the whole floor that has all the tables of the teams, and they have a big board up there that has every pick, right? And then a guy will go up, and actually I'm not sure if he went up and announced who was picking, but everybody had a mic at their table, and they would just when they said that they're up, they would just announce their pick. You would go down to the table if you were there, meet the whole personnel and team and everything. I remember too, just when I got picked, I stood up. I hugged my mom first too, and then my dad, and it was just a crazy experience. And the funny story that I was going to say was, so we were driving on the way there, and I actually forgot my belt.
Oh no!
So I forgot my belt, but Mikey McLeod, Matt McLeod's brother, was drafted the night before.
Yep.
So he was drafted in the first round. Yep. So I called him right away, and thank God he was still there. He was at the...
he was New Jersey, right?
He was New Jersey, yeah.
First
he
round.
was at the hotel in Buffalo. They stayed overnight. Maybe they're having a party or whatever for getting drafted. And he gave me the belt. He gave me his belt. He's like, he ran it down while I was sitting on the floor, or whatever in the seats.
Yeah.
And he gave me his belt, and I just never gave it back because I didn't know when I gave it back. And then when I first came here, because I didn't really know Matt McLeod like too well. I'd met him and stuff, but he's like, "Hey, you got Mikey's belt for me?" Or whatever. And then we just been kind of joking about it ever since.
So did he ever get the belt back, or did
No,
you hand
I
it
don't
to
even
Matt?
know where the belt is.
Oh
the
my
belt's,
gosh!
Yeah.
Did you lose that in your draft party?
No, we didn't have a big party. And also on the way, it was kind of a crazy day. The way home, we got a flat tire.
Oh man!
Yeah, so I think my dad fixed it. I don't know if he whatever. I was just in the car pretty much. So
you're still buzzing, right?
Yeah, I was still buzzing. So yeah, that's a funny day that now that we talk about it.
So like, but again, going back to like the moment that your name gets called, third round, what was it, 89th?
I think 84.
84th overall. So you're not finding out right there in that moment that you're getting drafted, are you?
Yeah, you are.
You are? Okay.
Well, like, I mean, what do you mean? Like,
well, because like I know with some picks, like, and maybe it's just a first round situation, but like a team will let you know.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hey, we're gonna.
Usually that's only like in the first round. On those, they just announce them. They'll announce them like you'll have a microphone at the table, and the GM will. It was Peter Shirelli, who's a GM.
Yep.
He said, whatever, Edmonton selects Georgetown Raiders, Matt Cairns. Yeah,
that's gotta. So wow. That's even more special because I think like if because I bring that up because like you mentioned Mikey with the Devils, like my guess is the Devils told him like, hey, if you're on the board still, like we're gonna pick you.
And some guys actually, if you watch the draft, they have a couple jerseys ready, like, or some guys have names on them, so they have a few jerseys or a few names on their jersey of guys that they think are available like around that time, right?
I can't imagine though, like sitting there because I guess at this point, like you're not getting up for concessions or anything. Like you're stuck just in case.
Yeah. Yep.
And you mentioned too, like this is early. You're not expecting to go third round.
No, it was super
all of a sudden out of the Georgetown Raiders, Matthew Cairns, like what is the emotion? Do you think it's you when they say Georgetown Raiders?
I think it was. Yeah. I think I was. There was a couple other guys on our we had a great team that year in Georgetown. We had some great prospects. I didn't think anybody would have got drafted that high. So I kind of did. But they say it so fast. Georgetown Raiders, Matthew Cairns. Yeah. So you kind of hear it, and then it was just crazy emotion. I remember my mom was just so ecstatic, and then my dad was more on like the same page. My mom's so supportive of everything, but she's not as involved as like with all the hockey stuff as my dad is. So he kind of was like even more surprised because, like I said, we anticipated that I would go a little bit lower. Yeah. But then they ended up taking a shot on me, and it was a crazy day.
Yeah, that's got to be nuts. I mean, well, what happens? So again, just continuing with that day. I mean, you get drafted, you're walking down now. I can't even imagine the emotion here, and then. You shake Shirelli's hand, I assume. You get your jersey, you get your hat, and then there's media right there for you, right?
There was media, yeah. You would go to the back, and there was a whole. I think every team had their guy there. Yeah. And then, first you would go to the back actually and take a bunch of pictures, right? And then do all that that stuff. And there was a media guy from every team, or a media person, I should say, from every team that they would talk and whatever, ask all the questions and things like that.
So, all right. You don't have to say. I'm just curious. Like, so what happens like following that process? Like, first off, you don't sign with Edmonton, right?
No, yeah.
So do you get like again? This it's a podcast,
of course. Yeah.
Do you get paid for just being drafted? Like, did you see any money from the Oilers?
No, you don't see anything. Because you're an amateur, you're considered an amateur. Right. And I'm not sure if it's different with guys who are major junior. They might get paid from their teams a bit because that's more of an incentive to get drafted because they're considered like pro. I guess they're considered semi-pro.
Sure, yeah.
And so, yeah, they're considered semi-pro. And no, we don't get anything because you keep that amateur status so that you're able to play NCAA.
Right.
So
now, is that before? Are you already in Cornell, or no? This would be before you.
Well,
I
was committed to Cornell, yes, but
Okay.
I wasn't actually. And I think I had everything accepted and all that, everything ready to go. They just deferred me for the year after.
Okay.
So I already knew when I was drafted. I knew I was going to go play one more year of junior.
Okay.
I actually hadn't figured out where that was going to be at the time, but once Edmonton kind of helped out and said, like, we think you should go here, blah, 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 and then figured out that for the 1 year, then went to Cornell.
When do you end up finding out that, like, okay, Edmonton is just, like, they're not going to sign you? I mean, is that a year? Is that a couple years down the road? Are you in college already?
That was more like towards the end.
Okay.
And I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. Usually a third round pick doesn't stay in school for 4 years. Like usually they sign earlier, and I wasn't playing as much as I would have liked to at Cornell and not developing the way I would have wanted to.
Right.
But they were still so supportive of me. I remember the one development guy there, Scott Housen. He's now the president of the AHL, I think.
Oh, okay. Wow.
He was so helpful with me with the whole process, and he was always talking to me, how's the games, all this kind of stuff. And then my senior year, I didn't really hear too much from them. Not that I really needed to or wanted to, but then I knew like they weren't really interested anymore. Which they have other guys. You know, you draft other guys and things like that, and it's all right. My dad said to me the day that my rights were up with Edmonton that there's a lot of guys who sign with teams that they're not drafted by. So
yeah, for sure. I mean,
they're play for teams that.
It's part of the business, right?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
At the end of the day, I mean, yeah, you mentioned Scott Housen. I think he is because Dave Andrews was president of the AHL.
Okay, so
before
then
him.
he took over for him.
I believe so because Andrews would have retired at the end of the 1920 season, I believe.
Okay.
But he was in that role for a long time.
Yeah.
But
this is probably Scott's second season, I think.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That
would add up.
Yeah.
So like for you, I mean, you mentioned what your dad said is true. I mean, there's just so many guys that just, you know, you get the pick and it's a moment you'll never forget.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think if anything, it gives you motivation to try and like get back to that kind of level.
Yeah.
But like for you, you know, where do you go from there? Because I guess in your mindset, it's like, all right, like, hey, I'm still going to be a pro hockey player. Like I know that's still in my skill set.
Well, I had that commitment to Cornell, so the education was always there, pushed from my parents and by myself as well. And that's why I did commit to Cornell, because they had such a good education and the hockey program. Like those went together so well. And obviously my goal is to play in the NHL 100%, but I was also focused on school at the time. And whether it was helpful or not, maybe I should have been focused more on hockey or whatever. Hindsight is 2020, but I just didn't develop enough or didn't play. I didn't play enough to get better, and then to be able to sign in time. And then they just didn't have interest in me, and that's how it worked.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, here's the thing. Like, whether you're the whole thing, like, oh, hindsight 2020, like, you're smart enough to say, well, an education is what you'll... Like, at the end of the day, you can still end up in the NHL at some point.
For sure.
But you're not going to play in the NHL when you're 60 years old. You're not going to play in the NHL when you're 50 years old.
Exactly right. Yep.
You know, so, like, all those years... I mean, unless you're 97 on the Oilers, you need that education, right? So I wouldn't be hard on yourself there. And ultimately, you end up with an American Hockey League contract. So, what I guess is kind of the bridge between wherever you are and ultimately ending up, from Cornell to UMD, which we'll talk about in a second, and then just talk about, I guess right now, getting the AHL deal with Rochester.
Yeah, that was another step in my career, I think. Obviously, this is my first pro season, and them offering that. I really wasn't. I mean, there was a lot of being in my situation. I wasn't really like more of a high profile guy coming out of college, but I was a solid player, and I didn't know where I was going to sign and where I was going to be until the end of this past summer, so 2021, and that kind of came up at the end. They had offered that, and they had offered me to go to rookie camp, the not the development camp, but the rookie tournament. So
Yeah.
we played the 2 games against Boston and New Jersey.
Yeah, that's still a cool.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And it was in Buffalo too. So my dad actually came to watch that as well. And that was when COVID was like crazy and he had to get tests to go back and stuff. And he ended up having to stay a couple extra nights because he didn't have his tests and stuff like that. And then I ended up going to main camp as well, getting invited from the rookie camp to the main camp, which was, I was so ecstatic for my first pro season to go to main camp, which is so cool with Buffalo and so close to home and things like that. And I learned so much from that I've brought into this year.
Yeah.
So that whole the whole process was great.
It's crazy, man. You look at your minutes. We were looking on Instat, and it's just, I mean, the roles are so different. Like what you're doing here versus like what you did, in college. I mean, you're playing 20, 25, sometimes more than that, over 25 minutes a game here. Like how crazy of an adjustment is that? Because I mean, it's what you want, right? Like
Absolutely,
you need those minutes
for sure. Yeah, it's a crazy adjustment. I think my role. I think I really know what my role is and I understand my role, whether that be here or in college or next level. I just think in college there was other guys that were top guys and like I guess call it top 4 guys, and I fit into a different role on a certain team better.
Right.
And I still did play a lot, and I played a lot of Duluth too, which was great. But this year, I mean I've. In terms of the actual minute, the minute total, I've always been in good shape, and that's something I really take pride in. So I think that's helped me a lot to be able to play those minutes, and also it comes from Painter and Bizarre giving me the trust and their trust. They've been trusting me a lot, and I think that's what's helped my development so much. So I've really enjoyed it, and I just hope that I can continue to play a great role for this team in the playoffs here.
I do want to. I want to shoot the breeze a little bit with you at some point. And I feel like it's like such a serious conversation about hockey, but you've got an interesting career. So I'll try to.
We always got time to
That's true. Yeah.
To mess around, right?
We do. That's right. We'll get there. I promise. But like I think if we're done talking about hockey, I don't know if we will be, but I'll make sure to mention this because like I said, I don't think it got in the cut for Prospect Pipeline, but like when you made the switch from Cornell to UMD, you said that was the hardest decision in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, take me through, I guess, like really how hard it was, because that's a big change.
Yeah, I've talked about this story a lot of times. I feel like I have it like down into a T in my head. It was the hardest decision in my life because I almost wasn't going to be able to graduate. And like, to be completely honest with you, I remember I had a meeting with the coaches at Cornell, just about, normal hockey stuff and stuff. And I remember calling my dad on the phone after, and I was crying to him on the phone because I said, like, I remember I said to him, I said, like, I don't want to leave here, but I can't play here, but I don't want to leave. So we went into, we talked about a whole bunch of things, and the biggest thing was about graduating, and I wasn't going to give up graduating. If they wouldn't let me graduate early, which I had to go through a whole process, which we don't have to talk about that. There's a whole process to petition to graduate early, and this was right before like the real COVID, the first start of COVID.
Yeah.
And I had to do a petition and all that to graduate early, and if they didn't let me do it, which they originally didn't, I wouldn't have transferred because I couldn't have given up. I already done 3 years at Cornell. Like I pretty much had a full semester left, and I couldn't just give that up. But I also was like, my dream is to play hockey. I knew that if I came back to Cornell the next year, regardless of they didn't play that year, but you didn't know that at the time. Assuming that they were going to play that year, I knew that I just wasn't going to be able to develop and I wasn't going to be able to play at the next level. So it worked out like amazing. Like, it's so crazy.
But so going to UMD, I mean, that was a decision based on like hockey.
That was hockey. Yeah. So once everything was figured out with school that I could graduate, I went in the transfer portal and then talked to teams. They were one of the first teams as well that talked to me, and I knew they were losing some guys too. They lost some big defensemen, so I was targeting them as well, and it just worked out. Like, I honestly can't even. It's amazing how everything fell into place for me, and it was just crazy.
When you say you were looking, I mean, most guys have an agent. I don't know if you have one or you do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so I mean, when you say you, is it? because every relationship, dude, like broadcasters
Yeah,
have agents.
no,
So,
yeah, of course.
Like, what's the dynamic? Are you yourself looking, or is the agent identifying these schools?
Mostly the agent is
Okay.
doing that stuff. I kind of just like put together a list of teams that I thought were good fits for myself,
Yeah.
and then send it to him, and he did most of the work. But it's your relationship with your agent's a little bit different in college than it is in pro because you're not like under contract or things like
Right.
that or whatever. And college teams would want to talk to you more. Like they want to
Okay.
know, like if you're going to college, a coach is getting you for 4 years, right? They want to know who you are as a person more
Yeah.
so than like, not that they don't do that in pro, but in pro, you might only be there for like a couple months and
Right.
then you're gone, right?
So was UMD on your list, or like
They were, yeah. And then they ended up, I remember my agent texted me and said, the assistant coach is going to call you from UMD. And I was like, wow, if this if this falls into place, then I'm going there.
Now, is that a situation where like did he end up suggesting to you like, okay, you gave me X number of schools. This school isn't on your list, but I think you'd be a good fit. Like, is that the kind of relationship you would say?
Yeah,
you
for
could have
sure,
with your agent.
for sure. And he knows coaching staffs and he knows people that have played in the program or been in the program and things like that.
Yeah.
So he would give me all those resources, and then ultimately it would be my decision.
Okay.
But like I said, he gave me all the resources, but it was the best fit. Like
Yeah.
even if they hadn't talked to me, I was like, this is where I think is the best fit.
Yeah.
Just because similar culture to Cornell, and they were losing guys as well.
Right.
And I just felt like it was, and it worked out great.
That's the reality of it. Like we talk about it being a business, like, you got to identify those spots too, right?
sure,
Because like
absolutely.
you can't go somewhere where you're going to see like 6D that are seniors or juniors. Like the writing's on the wall.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So-
Especially in college too.
What's
They love their guys in college.
which
I did benefit from it, and I also did not benefit from it. So.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Been on both sides.
Well, college is so different because like they want to win, but at the same time, there's always going to be those loyalties of their guys,
Absolutely,
right? You know,
absolutely,
and like
yeah.
in some ways, hey, if you're one of those guys, like you're thankful for it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Man, that was a lot of hockey talk.
No, it's all good.
For a podcast that's supposed to be a little bit of both. What about?
I feel like we haven't played. When's our last game? Saturday.
When was it? Yeah, or when was it? Yeah,
Saturday. So we haven't played in a little bit. I haven't talked
Yeah.
about hockey for a while.
This being recorded at the end of the regular season, we were just looking at it. So before you were in here, we were doing a little content meeting. I don't know, like this might not even come out till like late May.
The podcast. You have to do a bunch
our
of. You have
episodes.
to do a bunch of it takes a lot to do editing. I'm
Editing,
sure.
this guy right behind here, the guru,
Yeah.
Michael Perdomo. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for this kid. He is just going to be put through the ringer.
all good.
I might have to pinch hit, but we'll see.
Good experience. Though.
It
You'll
is
learn-
good
you'll learn
experience,
a lot
right?
of things.
It is good. You see, even the Cornell kid will lead you the right way, Michael.
yeah.
He will.
Just want to say I appreciate the kind words there, Matthew.
Yeah,
course.
there we go. Look at that. What a great guy. What are you doing in the summers? Like sticking away from hockey. Like what are
Yeah.
you doing to like chill and hang out?
Golf, a lot of golf.
Oh man,
Yeah,
Luke Brown
big-
again.
big-
Luke Brown 2.0.
Was he? Well, we golfed actually the other day.
Yeah?
We played. Yeah.
You and Brownie?
Yeah. He's good. He's really good. He was the low man in our group.
Oh man, who was the
Yeah.
group?
Me, Brownie, Matt McLeod, and me, Brownie, Matt McLeod. Oh, and Herman.
Yeah, Zach Herman.
Yeah, me and Herman were partners. He's good player too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a great time. Great round. It was a little bit chilly, but
Yeah.
other than that, we had a great round. And then actually, Craigs, Polino, Franco, and Gino Estevez all played after us.
So Gino hanging out with the A kids.
Oh yeah.
What's up with Gino?
Yeah, we were back-to-back tee times. We had a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What it's funny. I was saying this with Brownie. Like you're younger than him. You're 20. You're gonna be 24.
24. Yep.
So like, we're in the age like we're all in our mid 20s where like you go out, you do stuff, but like I was talking to Yemmer a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah.
like he's one of those gamers too, though. Like I don't know, Luke Brown seems mature beyond his years. Like he's like, I don't really play games much.
Oh yeah.
Is that you too?
No,
or-
no, I'm not a big video games. I used to be more video game guy. My roommate is Matt Robson. He's a big
yeah?
video. Yeah, and we play the odd time, but I don't know.
that's well, though.
I just can't find myself like. I like to play. I can't play for like more than like an hour.
Yeah?
I just
Good
get
for you.
too. I just get honestly, maybe I just distracted or I just not dialed in.
No, it's good. It's a good thing to have.
Yeah, I know. I've definitely faded off video games big time in the past.
You say faded off though. Like, so was there a time in life?
No, I mean, everybody plays when they're younger.
Right.
I wouldn't consider myself to be not a big gamer at all.
Yeah.
No.
Even like middle school, high school.
Yeah, I mean, we did, but like relative to my friends and stuff, I'd say no.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, no way.
So your friends play a bunch.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I like playing with them too. Just like
COD, World of Chell, like
Chell, a lot of Chell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
good.
actually I used to be pretty good at Chell.
dude.
Yeah.
Yammer is
My parents actually didn't let me play COD till I was like
of age, actually.
No, I mean, well, isn't that like no? Until I was like probably I don't even know. Not for a while. I remember all my friends playing and like they just didn't let me play. I don't know why, but
Would you have been in high school maybe when they allowed you?
no, I think before that.
No, okay. So
They-
not too bad.
I mean, they probably the reasoning was because of shooting and stuff, but maybe in hindsight it was because they didn't want me to end up playing so much. Like,
Yeah.
So it worked
It would
out.
have ruined your development.
There you go. Or,
Seriously, go.
something. I guess. Yeah.
All right. I asked Brownie this question. I figured why not? We'll do a repeat because it's a good one. So there's a player on our team, and you may know the answer to this. There's a player on our team that is a substitute teacher in his spare time. Do you know who that is?
A substitute teacher? Like his spare
this
time,
is
like
legit.
right now,
Like
or like in the
no,
summers.
we're like like in the well, like if we would, I mean, well, that one definitely needs to get deleted or bleeped. It's fine. You can bleep that, whatever. I say all the time. But oh man, now I'm losing it. Oh yeah, like he'll. I don't want to say this, but like if school were still in session and our season was over and like guys are going back home, like he would pick up gigs subbing.
I'm gonna have to think about that.
Take your time. I'll take a sip of my non-labeled water.
I'm trying to go up and down the lineup. Like, who would even be that? Who's old enough? Like,
Okay, I'll give you a clue.
no. Don't, I'm just
No
gonna. I want
clues.
to guess it. I want to
All
guess
right,
it.
all right.
If I get it wrong, then you can give me one.
Okay.
I want to say Mingo.
No.
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 No. I know you're right.
Definitely
He
not.
doesn't seem like a teacher at all, but I guess.
Definitely not. Have you seen Mingo in Canada?
Yeah. Oh jeez. We don't need to talk about that.
He did. We
He did-
recorded
he
a
did?
podcast. Yeah.
Oh, that's all right if he's talking about it.
Yeah. I
Joke
don't know
about
how
it.
much we'll put out of it, but
Who then? Or give me a hint.
a hint is he'd be one of the younger guys. So you're off to take all the guys with letters off. They're not in there. No vets.
No idea.
No.
Andrusiak? I don't know why. He's the youngest guy. He's the next young.
He is. No, Brandon Yeamans.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. How does he have? Is he like certified? Or do you have to be like?
Did we find out if he's certified? I mean,
There's no way he could do that here though.
No. I
Yeah.
mean, he's back home, but no, he's like.
No, I'm saying I think because U.S. versus Canada, I feel like you would have to. No.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I
Yeah.
mean, but I don't think he's certified, but he's he's in school to be a teacher.
Really?
That's
Okay.
what he's going to school for.
Nice.
So
So I guess there you go.
but doesn't that surprise you?
Yeah.
Great guy. Like
He's
I love
he's a
him.
smart kid though, and he talks well.
Yeah.
He talks well, so I can see it for
That's
sure.
crazy. What about so okay, I brought them up earlier. So Vonda and Derek, mom and dad, what were they doing, I guess, as your kid growing up? What do they do for work or did for work?
My mom actually hasn't worked now for probably 10 years maybe.
Okay.
And then before that, she worked for just as like a secretary for an heating and air conditioning company. And my dad's been in sales his whole life. Or I mean, all that I know. He worked for 2 supplement companies.
Yeah.
One was called All Max Nutrition. I don't know if you've heard about it. They did a bunch of stuff, and they used to do a bunch of stuff in Vegas and things like that. I have protein down there. That's All Max
yeah?
Nutrition. I think it's more Canadian, so that's maybe why you wouldn't know.
All right.
And then now he's also in sales for a logistics company, like a Transforce company. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've ever seen. It's more of a Canadian thing too. It's like it has like the red logo on the top, and it's like a blue name and then has a red logo. There's a bunch of different ones, but that's like the main concept.
Yeah.
I think maybe if you saw it, you would know. And then he works for just one of the little companies in there.
You mentioned your brother at like the top of this. What's your brother's name?
Michael.
So Michael Cairns.
Yep.
He just did he play hockey at all?
He played. Yeah, we played until together. I played a year up until I was 11 or 12. My dad was a coach. My dad actually, our first year of hockey, started coaching us a weekend because the coach was bad. So he came in. I think they asked him, do you want to coach? He's like, yeah, I'll coach.
Yeah.
And we ended up winning the championship that year. First
Buddy.
year. Yeah.
Are you trying to say that if Jason Payne takes an AHL job that you're?
Well, I know Bizzarro kind of wants him on the bench. He was saying, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. me and Bez always joke about saying that he's got an earpiece in my ear and stuff like that.
Yeah, but dude, your dad is so dedicated. You talk about him making the trip up to the draft for you. I'm not surprised in the slightest.
No, he loves it. He's coming down this weekend for the playoff game with my brother too. Yeah. Because Toledo's only 4.5 from Toronto.
Yeah, that wouldn't be that bad. Because what's Cincy from him? 6?
7.
7?
Yeah, it's about 7.
Okay. It's a little bit of a longer haul, but he's been to a few home games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they wanted to come next week, but I think he couldn't because of work or something. They're going to try and come.
I'm trying to think I know he hasn't been to all our games, but what road arenas has he not been to? He wasn't at Troyes.
Yeah, well, any of the long road trips.
Newfoundland's.
So if you let's go through a division. Then you came to Fort Wayne. Came to Wheeling.
He did come to Wheeling.
Yeah, he came to Wheeling. Both my parents came to Wheeling.
Okay, I don't remember seeing him there. Was he at Indy?
Yes, he was at Indy.
Makes sense. We were there so many times.
Yeah, and then us. And
Fort
then
Wayne,
who's
Wheeling, Indy. Has he been to Toledo
Iowa?
yet?
Toledo. Yes, my parents came to Toledo.
Okay. So that's for Iowa.
Yeah, no Iowa. Not Iowa. I mean that's far.
Right.
That's
Kalamazoo.
No, not Kalamazoo.
So 4 of 6 in our division.
Yep.
I know you went to Newfoundland. Did he go to any of the
they went to
outer
Newfoundland,
division?
Yeah.
Atlanta?
No. I'm trying to think. What other games do we have out of division? Do we play anybody in the north other than those two?
Troyes. Maybe those were the only teams we traveled to out of division. Atlanta, Troyes, and Newfoundland, because we had a bunch come to us.
Yeah.
Greenville came to us. Allen came to us. We didn't go there.
Yeah, that's it then, I guess.
I think that is it.
Nobody in the mountain, yeah.
No, we didn't travel there.
And nobody in the south. I guess Atlanta, that's it, right?
We might be traveling to both the mountain and the south next season.
Really?
Yeah. Spoiler alert. I can't say who or when.
But, okay.
Well in advance.
Speaking of, actually, I saw this today. Cornell is playing at Duluth.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, next year. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it should be cool. I'll definitely have to tune into that.
You'll have to drop the puck.
Yeah,
they'll take you out there. I wonder if Stage School's still with UMD.
He is. Yes, he is. And their other goalie just signed.
Might be a senior year.
No, he's a junior.
No, okay.
Yeah, and the other goalie just signed, Ryan Fanti with the Oilers.
Yeah,
so he'll be the star. I mean, he was starting a lot, but
right.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Just the hockey world is so crazy too. It's a small world, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you heard about Stage School this year. Did you hear what happened?
No.
He was he got diagnosed with testicular cancer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
no, I didn't.
At the start of the year, and then was out for a while, and then he ended up coming back at the end of the year. He played a game.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
I gotta reach out to Zach. I haven't talked to him in a long, long time. I was doing junior hockey. He was in Wilkes-Barre in the NAHL, and he was our goalie, and I broadcast there, but I was sort of a hybrid role because I was doing some other work and it was kind of a part-time broadcasting gig, but he was always a really nice kid whenever I was around him. I'll have to reach out.
No, he's a great kid. He's a really great kid.
So when you're in the off season, you're golfing.
Yep. Cottage too. Big
cottage.
Yeah.
Dude, this is Luke Brown. Do you live with Luke?
Is that what he said too?
It's literally the same thing.
I mean, he's east though. He's way out east. He's Ottawa. He's way Ottawa area, I guess.
He said the same thing. He's
cottage.
I golf in the summer and we have the family cottage.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do too. Go to some country concerts, hang out with the fam, work out, skate.
Yeah.
Pick up the odd summer job here.
What's the odd summer job? I'm curious.
Well, the past couple summers I've been working at John Elkins goalie school.
Oh, nice. All right.
It's funny because I always joke now with these goalies that I know goaltending. I just say what they all say. Yeah. No, I've been a shooter there, and it's good. It's close to home, and he's always paid well. It's good hours, nice. And you work on your game too. There's good goalies that come out there.
Yeah.
So that was huge, and then before that, I actually worked at Sky Zone, the trampoline park.
Yeah.
So
it's a cool little place.
It was good. Yeah,
I love those.
It was right by my house too, so it was super easy.
Yeah.
Decent hours and. Something to do.
Dude, that's a fun time. They had the Sky Zone that we had. So we didn't have, back home, it wasn't called Sky Zone. It was called Hooplas.
Okay, yeah.
But similar thing. Like you'd go into like basically an arena of trampolines. Like on the floor, on the walls that you can jump on, whatever. Yeah. And you would, one of them was dodgeball. I don't know if Sky Zone
Dodgeball,
has
yeah.
it.
Big time.
Dude,
I used to referee. I used to be the referee for those. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
All kids would always yell at me, and I just...
Did you guys have the foam pit?
We did, yep. Foam pit, basketball, and then...
Basketball with
dodgeball.
trampolines?
Yeah,
we didn't have that.
The trampoline, bounce, and then you dunk or whatever.
How high is the hoop? Is it like...
There's a smaller and a bigger one. So I think there was probably one that was 10 feet and then probably one that was like 6 feet.
Yeah?
For the little kids, yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, really cool.
How much would you, if ever, get on those trampolines?
Oh, a bunch.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my grandmother had a trampoline at like their farm that they had, and we would always go on. And we actually have that trampoline at our cottage now, and go on all the time. I'm a big trampoline guy, actually.
Big trampoline
guy.
Yeah. It's so fun. Feel lightweight. Good time. I'll tell you what though, like when you can land on them the wrong way.
Absolutely.
Right? Like
I broke my arm one time coming
Really?
off. Yeah.
My little brother broke his arm on a trampoline.
I tried to, it was stupid. I tried jumping over my buddy and then landed off the trampoline, and I tried to break my fall, and I just...
Yeah, that's not good. We were doing the stupid like wrestling as kids on the trampoline, and it never ends good.
No.
We're coming to the end of this podcast, but I'll end it on this. So you talk about the cottage. I assume it's like Brownie, it's the family cottage.
For sure, yep.
You know, and I know I give them so much shout outs just because, you know, they've gone out of their way to be nice to me. But like for your family, I mean, you know, ending it on this note, like how much do they mean to you? Because it's obviously a lot, and the support they give you is, I think, helped you flourish. Yeah,
they're everything. There's two people in this world that I play for every day, and it's them two, and my brother as well. Obviously, there's only ones that I play for, and they've done everything for me. And I wouldn't, it's so cliche to say, but I wouldn't be anywhere without them. And I love having them around so much. Like they have so much support, and we have such a good relationship. And it's, they just started to even put it into words. Like they mean so much to me.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. You're an awesome guy. Cairns.
Appreciate that, Moss.
I appreciate the time, buddy.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
Sorry
you. I was late again, though.
No, it's okay. It's all right. You have to get the teeth fixed. You know?
Exactly. There you
we'll
go.
talk about veneers or Invisalign at another time.
Exactly. Next podcast.
All right, that's it. 2 for Chirping with Matt Cairns.